If you want him, you can have all of him.
The security guard tried to stop her, but Behavior Mitchell walked through the chrome and glass lobby of Carter Enterprises like a woman possessed, clutching a black garbage bag in her white-knuckled fist. 27th floor. Executive suite. Her husband's corner office where his personal assistant, young, beautiful, ambitious Amber Reed, sat at her pristine desk. Behavior didn't hesitate. She upended the bag, and Melissa's dirty underwear rained down like confetti, landing across Amber's keyboard, her coffee cup, her perfectly composed face. You want him? Behavior's voice cut through the stunned silence. You can have all of him. Welcome back, my wonderful family and friends. I am Mr. ZAHA. Thanks for tuning in today. A kind words from a man who has seen it all. Marriage are not mostly bed of roses. Sometime you need more of. More of what? Can't say. Continue watching, and you will surely know what to do in situations like this. Kindly hit that subscribe button and drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from. Tomorrow, I'll be bringing you another exciting story you definitely don't want to miss. So let's get started. 48 hours earlier, Behavior Mitchell stood at the window of her penthouse bedroom, watching the Seattle skyline blur through tears she refused to let fall. Behind her, the king-sized bed lay perfectly made. White Egyptian cotton sheets. Not a wrinkle, not a sign that anyone had slept there last night. Because no one had. Her husband, Melissa Carter, tech billionaire, CEO of Carter Enterprises, hadn't come home. Again, her phone buzzed. A text from Melissa. Board meeting ran late. Staying at the office. Don't wait up. The same text. The 10th time this month. Behavior typed back. Okay. Love you. He didn't respond. She walked through the penthouse. 5,000 square feet of architectural perfection overlooking Elliott Bay. Every surface gleamed. Every corner staged like a magazine spread. The place felt like a museum. Beautiful. Empty. Dead. 7 years ago, she'd been Behavior Mitchell, assistant professor of literature at the University of Washington, passionate about her work, happy in her modest apartment. Then she'd met Melissa at a fundraiser. Within 6 months, they were married in a ceremony that made it into Vogue. You'll never have to work again, he'd promised. I'll take care of everything. So she'd quit teaching. Started the novel she'd always dreamed of writing. Except the novel never materialized. And Melissa's definition of taking care of everything meant controlling everything. Slowly, imperceptibly, Behavior had disappeared into the role of Mrs. Melissa Carter. Now she couldn't remember the last time her husband had asked about her day, her thoughts, her dreams. Couldn't remember the last time he'd looked at her like she was a person instead of a possession. The next morning, Behavior woke to an empty bed and a note on Melissa's pillow. Early meeting. See you tonight. M. No love. No miss you. Just an initial. She crumpled the note and threw it across the room. In the bathroom mirror, she studied herself. 34 years old. Designer clothes. Professional hair. Empty eyes. When had the light gone out? She thought about Melissa. About his late nights. His distraction. The way he barely touched her anymore. And she thought about Amber Reed. Melissa's personal assistant. 26 years old. Stanford MBA. Sharp and beautiful with ambitious eyes that followed Melissa like he was the sun. Behavior had met Amber 3 times. Each time, the younger woman had looked at her with something that might have been pity, or contempt, or triumph. She remembered the company holiday party 6 months ago, watching Melissa and Amber together. The easy intimacy of inside jokes. The way his hand had rested on the small of Amber's back. She's invaluable, Melissa had said when Behavior mentioned it. Don't be insecure. Don't be insecure. As if her feelings were a character flaw. That afternoon, Behavior drove to Carter Enterprises. The building rose 40 stories above downtown Seattle, all steel and glass and modern arrogance. Carter Enterprises in bold letters across the top. Melissa's empire. She'd only been here a handful of times. Melissa didn't like mixing his professional and personal lives. Now she wondered what he'd really been hiding. She took the elevator to the 27th floor. Executive level. Mrs. Carter. We weren't expecting you, the receptionist said. I thought I'd surprise Melissa. Take him to lunch. The lie came easily. Too easily. Oh, I'm afraid Mr. Carter is in meetings all afternoon. But I can let Amber know. That's okay. I'll just wait. Behavior walked past the reception desk, down the hallway toward Melissa's corner office. But before she reached it, she passed another door, slightly ajar. Amber's office. Through the crack, Behavior could see the younger woman at her desk, typing rapidly, her dark hair pulled back in a sleek ponytail. Professional. Focused. Beautiful. Everything Behavior used to be before she became Mrs. Melissa Carter and lost herself. Can I help you? Behavior jumped. Amber had looked up, her dark eyes sharp. I'm just looking for Melissa. He's in a meeting. Should be out in about 20 minutes. Amber's smile was professionally pleasant. Would you like to wait in his office? No, thank you. I'll come back. Behavior fled. But something in Amber's eyes, a flicker of knowledge, of secrets held close, had told her everything she needed to know. If she went digging, she'd find something. The question was, did she have the courage to look? That night, Melissa came home at midnight. Behavior was in bed, pretending to sleep, when she heard him. His footsteps. The bathroom door closing. The shower running. 20 minutes. He showered for 20 minutes. When he finally slipped into bed beside her, he smelled like hotel soap. Not their soap. Behavior kept her breathing even, kept her eyes closed, kept the scream locked in her throat. While Melissa settled beside her, already asleep within minutes, unburdened, untroubled, she lay awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling her marriage crumble. Tomorrow, she decided. Tomorrow she would look. Tomorrow she would find the truth. And then everything would change. Behavior woke at dawn to an empty bed. Melissa was already gone. No note this time. Just the faint scent of his cologne lingering in the air like a ghost. She lay there for a moment, staring at the ceiling, feeling the weight of what she was about to do pressing down on her chest. Then she got up, showered, dressed in jeans and a sweater, armor for the battle ahead, and made herself coffee she couldn't drink. Her hands shook as she carried the cup to Melissa's home office. He never locked it. Why would he? She'd never given him reason to doubt her compliance. Her willingness to look the other way. Her determination to be the perfect, uncomplicated wife. The office was all dark wood and leather, shelves lined with books he'd never read and awards he'd stopped noticing. His desk sat in front of floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the sound. Behavior sat in his chair, expensive ergonomic leather that molded to her body, and opened his laptop. Password protected. Of course. She tried their anniversary, their wedding date, his birthday. Nothing. Then, on impulse, she tried. Amber 2024. The screen unlocked. Behavior's stomach dropped. Her vision tunneled. For a moment, she couldn't breathe. His password is her name. Her hands moved without conscious thought, opening his email, scrolling through messages, business correspondence, meeting notes, calendar invites. Then she saw it. A folder labeled personal. She clicked. The emails loaded. Hundreds of them. All to and from Amber Reed. Behavior clicked on the most recent one. From 3 days ago. Last night was incredible. I can still feel your hands on me. When can we do it again? The Plaza Hotel? Same room. I'll wear that thing you like. Hey. Melissa's response. Tomorrow night. 8 p.m. Don't be late. Behavior scrolled back. Weeks of emails. Months. Explicit messages. Photos she couldn't bring herself to open. Plans for hotel rooms. Weekend getaways. Stolen afternoons. She's so clueless, Amber had written. Does she really not notice? Or does she just not care? She doesn't ask questions, Melissa had replied. It's easier this way. Behavior's vision blurred. Tears streamed down her face, hot and angry and devastating. How long? How long had this been going on while she'd been playing the dutiful wife? While she'd been convincing herself that his distance was just stress, just work, just the natural evolution of marriage. 6 months. According to the emails, at least 6 months. Half a year of lies. Of him coming home smelling like hotel soap. Of board meetings and late nights at the office. Of her sleeping alone while he was with her. Behavior stood abruptly, the chair rolling back and hitting the wall. She paced the office, her breath coming in short, sharp gasps. Rage built in her chest like a living thing, hot and violent and demanding release. She could confront him. She could call a lawyer. She could pack his bags and throw him out. Or, an idea formed. Terrible. Perfect. The kind of idea that only makes sense when you're drowning in betrayal and fury. She would expose them. Publicly. Humiliatingly. The way they'd humiliated her. Behavior ran to their bedroom, to the walk-in closet they shared. On Melissa's side, she found what she was looking for, his laundry hamper. She appended it, dumping clothes across the pristine floor. There. His underwear. A week's worth. Expensive designer boxer briefs that probably cost $50 each. Evidence of his humanity, his ordinariness, the reality beneath the billion-dollar image. She stuffed them into a black garbage bag, hands shaking with adrenaline. Then she grabbed her purse, her keys, and headed for the door. She was going to Carter Enterprises. She was going to the 27th floor. And she was going to make sure everyone knew exactly what kind of man Melissa Carter really was. The lobby of Carter Enterprises gleamed with chrome and marble. Morning rush. Employees streaming through security turnstiles with their badges and briefcases and coffee cups. Behavior walked through like a woman possessed, the black garbage bag clutched in her fist. Mrs. Carter. The security guard stepped forward, confused. Can I help you with? No. Behavior said, her voice eerily calm. I know where I'm going. She bypassed security, heading straight for the executive elevators. Someone called after her, but she didn't stop, didn't slow down. The fury propelling her forward was too strong, too pure. 27th floor. The doors opened onto plush carpeting and hushed elegance. The receptionist looked up, eyes widening. Mrs. Carter. Mr. Carter is in a meeting. I'm not here for him. Behavior walked past the desk, down the hallway, her heels clicking against marble. Employees turned to stare. Whispers followed in her wake. She didn't care. Amber's office. Door open. The younger woman sat at her desk, typing, her dark hair perfect, her white blouse crisp, her expression focused. She looked up as Behavior entered. Surprise flickered across her face, then something else. Wariness. Mrs. Carter. Is everything. Behavior didn't let her finish. She lifted the garbage bag and upended it. Melissa's dirty underwear tumbled out like confetti, landing across Amber's keyboard. Her coffee cup, her perfectly organized desk. One pair caught on her computer monitor. Another landed in her lap. Amber shrieked, jumping up, her chair rolling back and slamming into the wall. What the hell? You want him? Behavior's voice cut through the shocked silence. You can have all of him. Every dirty, cheating, lying piece of him. Employees had gathered in the hallway. Faces pressed against the glass walls of Amber's office. Phones out. Recording. Amber's face had gone white, then red. You're insane. No. I'm done. Done being the clueless wife. Done pretending I don't know. Done letting you make a fool of me. Behavior's voice rose. How long, Amber? How long have you been sleeping with my husband? I don't know what you're talking about. Liar. The word ripped from Behavior's throat. I read the emails. The Plaza Hotel. Room 2847. Last night was incredible. I can still feel your hands on me. Should I keep going? Or should I just read them out loud to everyone here? Gasps from the hallway. Amber's face crumbled. Mrs. Carter, please. Please what? Please be quiet. Please go away. Please keep letting you destroy my marriage. Behavior laughed, but it was a broken sound. You're 26 years old. You have your whole life ahead of you. And you chose to sleep with a married man. My married man. What is going on here? Melissa's voice. Cold. Commanding. The CEO voice he used to control boardrooms and billion-dollar deals. Behavior turned. Her husband stood in the doorway, his face thunderous, his expensive suit perfectly tailored, his wedding ring gleaming on his left hand. The ring he'd worn while sleeping with his assistant. Ask her. Behavior said, pointing at Amber. Ask her what's going on. Or better yet, check your email. The personal folder. Maybe read it out loud for everyone. Melissa's jaw clenched. My office. Now. No. The single word hung in the air like a grenade. Excuse me. I said no. I'm done taking orders from you. Done being controlled. Done being the good little wife who doesn't ask questions. Behavior's voice shook, but she stood her ground. You want to talk? Talk here. In front of everyone. Tell them how you've been sleeping with your assistant for 6 months. Tell them about the Plaza Hotel. Tell them how you used my trust, my love, my life to make a fool of me. Melissa's face had gone pale. Around them, employees watched with wide eyes. Phones recording. The moment going viral in real time. You're going to regret this, Melissa said quietly. Dangerously. The only thing I regret, Behavior said, tears streaming down her face now, is wasting 7 years on you. She turned and walked out, leaving the underwear scattered across Amber's desk like evidence at a crime scene. Leaving her marriage, her identity as Mrs. Melissa Carter, her carefully constructed life in ruins behind her. But for the first time in years, Behavior felt something other than emptiness. She felt alive. That moment of standing up for yourself, terrifying and empowering at the same time. Have you ever had to choose between keeping the peace and reclaiming your dignity? Share your story in the comments below. Behavior made it to her car before the shaking started. Her hands trembled so violently she couldn't get the key in the ignition. She gripped the steering wheel instead, pressing her forehead against it, gulping air like a drowning woman finally breaking the surface. What had she done? The rage that had propelled her through Carter Enterprises was draining away, leaving behind something cold and terrible. Reality. Consequence. The video footage of her public meltdown probably already circulating on social media. Her phone exploded with notifications, text messages, missed calls, voicemails piling up. She silenced it without looking. Finally, her hands steadied enough to drive. She pulled out of the parking garage, merging into Seattle traffic, driving without destination. Just moving. Just escaping. Her phone rang. Melissa's name flashed on the screen. She let it ring. It rang again. And again. And again. On the fourth call, she answered. Put it on speaker. What the hell were you thinking? Melissa's voice exploded through the car. Not the smooth CEO voice. The real voice. Angry. Uncontrolled. Do you have any idea what you've just done? That was my workplace. My employees. My reputation. Your reputation? Behavior's laugh was bitter. You destroyed your own reputation when you started sleeping with your assistant. That's private. Between us. You had no right to make it public. I had every right. You humiliated me for 6 months. I returned the favor for 6 minutes. You're going to pay for this, Behavior. I swear to God. Are you threatening me? I'm telling you how this works. You think you can embarrass me and walk away? You think you can air our dirty laundry and there won't be consequences? His voice dropped, became deadly calm. I will bury you. I will take everything. The house. The money. The prenup you signed gives you nothing if you're found at fault. And trust me, what you just did, that's fault. Behavior's blood ran cold. The prenup. She'd barely read it 7 years ago, too in love to care. Melissa's lawyers had assured her it was standard. Fair. But she remembered now. Clauses about conduct. About public embarrassment. About protecting his business interests. You can't. Watch me. By the end of the day, you'll be served with divorce papers. By the end of the week, you'll be out of the penthouse. You'll have nothing, Behavior. Not a cent. Not a credit card. Nothing. Because you decided to throw a tantrum like a child. The line went dead. Behavior pulled over, barely making it to the curb before the tears came. Great, heaving sobs that shook her entire body. She'd wanted revenge. Wanted him to hurt the way she was hurting. But she hadn't thought past that moment. Hadn't considered what came next. Now she was facing divorce with no money. No job. No career to fall back on. She'd given up everything for him. And now he was going to make sure she left with nothing. Her phone buzzed. A text from a number she didn't recognize. This is Vanessa Chun from Seattle today. We'd love to interview you about what happened at Carter Enterprises. Would you be willing to tell your side of the story? Delete. Another text. Another reporter. Another. And another. She was going viral. The wronged wife who publicly humiliated her cheating billionaire husband. Twitter was probably having a field day. The video spreading. Her face everywhere. Behavior started driving again. She needed to go somewhere. Anywhere but the penthouse that was no longer hers. She ended up at her old apartment building. The modest place in Capitol Hill where she'd lived before Melissa. Before everything changed. She parked across the street, staring up at the third-floor window that used to be hers. A young woman lived there now. Behavior could see her through the window, moving around with a coffee cup, probably getting ready for work. Living the life Behavior used to have. The life she'd traded for luxury and loneliness. Her phone rang again. Not Melissa this time. Her mother. Behavior almost didn't answer. But she needed to hear a friendly voice. Needed someone who wasn't trying to destroy her or interview her. Mom. Behavior. Sweetheart. I just saw. Are you okay? Where are you? I'm fine. Her voice broke. I'm not fine. Mom, I don't know what to do. Come home. Right now? Come to Portland. Stay with me and your father. We'll figure this out. He's going to take everything. The prenup. Let him. Money isn't everything. You're smart. You're strong. You'll rebuild. I'm 34 years old with a degree I haven't used in 7 years. I have no money. No job. No. You have yourself. That's more than you had this morning when you were still pretending to be happy in that marriage. The words hit like a slap. A true slap. Because her mother was right. This morning, she'd been wealthy and miserable. Now she was broke and terrified, but at least she was free. I'll come tonight, Behavior said. After I get some things from the penthouse. Be careful. And Behavior? I'm proud of you. What you did took courage. Or stupidity. Sometimes they're the same thing. Behavior returned to the penthouse at 3 p.m., half expecting to find the locks changed. But her key still worked. Inside, nothing had changed. Still immaculate. Still empty. Still the beautiful prison she'd been living in. She started packing. Clothes. Books. Her laptop. The few things that were truly hers. In the closet, she found her old teaching clothes. Blazers and practical skirts she'd worn to lecture halls. She'd kept them, even though she'd never worn them again. Like a talisman. A reminder of who she used to be. The front door opened. Melissa's footsteps in the foyer. Behavior's heart hammered. She stepped out of the bedroom to face him. He looked different. Disheveled. Angry. Human. You're packing, he said flatly. You told me I'd be out by the end of the week. I'm getting a head start. Behavior, he ran a hand through his hair. This is insane. What you did today was insane. What you did for 6 months was insane. I just made sure everyone knew. Do you know what this is going to cost me? The board is furious. Our stock dropped 3 points. I'm going to have to fire Amber just to contain the damage. And the press. Poor you. Your stock dropped. Your reputation is damaged. Meanwhile, my entire life just imploded. But sure, let's focus on your inconvenience. They stared at each other across the expanse of their living room. Strangers who'd once promised forever. It didn't mean anything, Melissa said finally. Amber, the affair. It was just. Don't you dare minimize it. I'm trying to explain. There's nothing to explain. You chose her. Every night you didn't come home. Every lie you told. Every time you made me feel crazy for suspecting. You chose her. Melissa's face hardened. Fine. If that's how you want to play it. My lawyer will contact you tomorrow. Don't take anything that isn't yours. Everything here is yours, Melissa. The furniture. The art. The life. I'm just taking me. Whatever's left of me. She returned to the bedroom, finished packing, and walked out of the penthouse without looking back. Out of her marriage. Out of her gilded cage. Into an uncertain future that terrified and exhilarated her in equal measure. Portland rain felt different than Seattle rain. Behavior stood on her parents' back porch 3 days later, watching water drip from the eaves, feeling like a teenager again. Running home after her life fell apart. Except she was 34, not 17, and this time the heartbreak was measured in billions and prenuptial agreements. Inside, her mother was making tea. Her father was pretending to read the newspaper while obviously worried about her. The guest room upstairs held her hastily packed suitcase and the shattered pieces of her identity. Her phone buzzed. She'd stopped silencing it. Stopped running from the consequences. A text from an unknown number. Behavior. This is Diana from the Seattle Bar Association. I represent women in high-asset divorces. I'd like to talk to you about your case. Pro bono. Behavior stared at the message. Pro bono. Free legal representation. Because everyone had seen the video. Everyone knew she was about to be destroyed by Melissa's legal team. She typed back, when can we meet? The response came immediately, tomorrow, 2 p.m., my office. We're going to fight this. For the first time in days, Behavior felt something other than despair. Hope. Diana Reeves was 55, sharp-eyed, and carried herself like a warrior heading into battle. I've seen the prenup, she said, sliding papers across her desk. It's brutal, but it's not airtight. Behavior leaned forward. What do you mean? The clause about conduct applies to both parties. If we can prove Melissa's affair caused you emotional distress, which, let's be honest, throwing underwear on his mistress's desk is pretty good evidence of emotional distress, we can argue that his infidelity violated the spirit of the agreement. But I'm the one who made it public. After months of his infidelity. After being gaslit and lied to. After being humiliated privately while he paraded around as Seattle's golden boy. Diana's smile was sharp. Juries love wronged wives. And more importantly, judges hate cheating billionaires who try to use their money to silence their victims. I'm not a victim. No, you're a survivor. And we're going to make sure Melissa understands the difference. They spent 3 hours going over everything. The emails. The timeline. The evidence of Melissa's affair. Behavior's abandoned career. The power imbalance. The emotional abuse masked as luxury. He's going to come at you hard, Diana warned. He'll paint you as unstable, vindictive. He'll use that video to show you're irrational. Maybe I am irrational. Or maybe you're a woman who finally had enough. There's a difference. Diana closed her folder. Here's what's going to happen. He'll try to settle quickly and quietly. Offer you just enough money to go away. Don't take it. We're going to trial. We're going to make him testify under oath about the affair. About the lies. About using company resources to facilitate his relationship with his assistant. Company resources? The Plaza Hotel suite? Paid for with his corporate card. The flowers he sent her? Company account. The raise she got 3 months into the affair? All documented. Diana's smile widened. He didn't just cheat on you. He committed corporate malfeasance. His board is going to love that. Behavior felt something shift in her chest. Not just hope. Power. Let's do it. The call came 2 days later. Melissa. Not through lawyers. Directly. We need to talk, he said. His voice was different. Tired. Almost human. Talk to my lawyer. Behavior, please. Just 5 minutes. Face to face. No lawyers. Just us. Against her better judgment, she agreed. They met at a coffee shop in neutral territory, downtown Portland, far from Seattle's prying eyes. Melissa arrived in a baseball cap and sunglasses, trying for anonymous. Failing miserably. He'd lost weight. Dark circles under his eyes. The invincible billionaire looked breakable. Thank you for coming, he said, sitting across from her. You have 4 minutes left. He flinched. Fair. I deserve that. He wrapped his hands around a coffee cup he hadn't touched. I'm sorry. I know that doesn't mean anything now, but I'm sorry. Sorry you got caught? Or sorry you did it? Both. All of it. He looked up, and she saw genuine pain in his eyes. I've been thinking about how we got here. About when everything went wrong. And I realized I don't know. I don't know when I became this person. The person who could hurt you like this. I do. You became that person the moment you decided your needs mattered more than our marriage. You're right. You're absolutely right. He pulled off his sunglasses. The board fired me yesterday. Well, they called it stepping down, but we both know what it was. The scandal is too big. The stock is tanking. Investors are nervous. So I'm out. Behavior felt a jolt of shock. Out. Effective immediately. They gave me a severance package and showed me the door. The company I built, and they threw me out like garbage. His laugh was bitter. Ironic, right? Given how I treated you. I don't feel sorry for you. I'm not asking you to. I wanted you to know. You won. What you did at my office. It destroyed me. Everything I spent 20 years building is gone. Behavior studied him across the table. The man she'd loved. The man she'd married. The stranger who'd betrayed her. I didn't win, Melissa. We both lost. The difference is, I'm okay with starting over. You're terrified of it. What do you want from me? Really? Nothing. That's what you don't understand. I don't want your money. I don't want revenge. I don't even want an apology. I just want to be free of you. Then take the settlement. Diana told you about it. She did. $500,000 to walk away quietly. It's generous. It's insulting. 7 years of my life. And you think $500,000 makes us even? Behavior leaned forward. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to trial. You're going to testify under oath about the affair. About the lies. About how you used me as a trophy wife while you screwed your assistant on the company dime. And when it's over, I'm going to walk away with what I'm owed, not what you think is convenient. Melissa's jaw clenched. You'll regret this. No. The only thing I regret is not doing it sooner. She stood, leaving him sitting there with his untouched coffee and his shattered empire. Outside, the rain had stopped. Sunlight broke through the clouds, painting everything gold. Behavior pulled out her phone and called Diana. We're going to trial, she said. Good. Let's make him bleed. The deposition happened 2 weeks later. Melissa sat across from Diana, his lawyer beside him, his face carefully neutral as Diana went through the timeline. The emails. The hotel receipts. The lies. Mr. Carter, did you have a sexual relationship with your assistant, Amber Reed? Yes. For how long? 6 months. Approximately. And during those 6 months, did you tell your wife about this relationship? No. Did you use company funds to facilitate this affair? His lawyer objected. They went back and forth. But eventually, Melissa answered. Yes. Some expenses were charged to the company. Including hotel rooms? Yes. Gifts? Yes. Diana paused, letting the admission hang in the air. Then she pulled out a document. This is your wife's CV from 7 years ago. She was an assistant professor at the University of Washington. Published author. Rising star in her field. Diana looked at Melissa. What is she now? I don't. What does her resume say now, Mr. Carter? After 7 years of being married to you. Silence. Nothing. It says nothing. Because you convinced her to give up her career. Her identity. Everything that made her who she was. And in return, you gave her money and loneliness and betrayal. Diana's voice was steel. So tell me, what do you think she's owed? Melissa's composure cracked. Everything. She's owed everything. The words hung in the room like a verdict. His lawyer looked stricken, but Melissa just stared at the table, finally facing what he'd done. They settled 3 days later. Not $500,000. $5 million. The penthouse. And a public apology. Behavior stood in Diana's office, staring at the paperwork, barely believing it was real. You did it, Diana said. You got what you deserved. No, Behavior said softly. I got what I'm owed. What I deserve is still ahead of me. She signed the papers, officially ending her marriage, and officially beginning her life. 6 months later, Behavior stood in front of a classroom at Portland State University, looking out at 35 faces staring back at her. Young, eager, alive with the kind of energy she'd forgotten existed. Welcome to Literature 301. Women's Voices in 19th Century Fiction, she said, her voice steady and clear. I'm Professor Mitchell, and over the next 10 weeks, we're going to explore how women writers challenge the constraints of their time through storytelling. Professor Mitchell, not Mrs. Carter, not the billionaire's wife, just Behavior Mitchell, PhD candidate turned adjunct professor, reclaiming the life she'd abandoned. The settlement money sat in her account, mostly untouched. She'd bought a modest condo near campus, nothing like the penthouse, but it was hers. Actually hers. Filled with books and plants and secondhand furniture that she'd chosen herself. She'd donated $1 million to a foundation supporting women leaving abusive relationships. Another $1 million to arts education programs. The rest she'd invested carefully, determined never to be financially dependent on anyone again. But the money wasn't what mattered. What mattered was standing here, teaching again, being herself again. After class, a student approached her desk. Young woman, maybe 22, nervous. Professor Mitchell? I just wanted to say, I saw what happened. With your ex-husband. My mom went through something similar. She was too scared to leave. But watching you, what you did, it gave her courage. She filed for divorce last month. Behavior felt tears prick her eyes. How is she doing? Scared, but free. She says it's worth it. It is. Tell her it gets easier. Not easy, but easier. The student smiled and left. Behavior gathered her papers, her heart full in a way it hadn't been in years. That evening, Behavior met her mother for dinner at their favorite Thai restaurant. You look good, her mother said, studying her across the table. Really good. Healthy. I feel good. Different, but good. Any regrets? Behavior considered the question. Did she regret the marriage? The 7 lost years? The public humiliation? No, she said finally. I regret staying as long as I did. But I don't regret leaving the way I left. I needed to do something big. Something that couldn't be ignored or minimized or swept under the rug. I needed to blow up the lie we were living. The video's still making rounds, you know. There's a whole TikTok trend. Throwing receipts like Behavior Mitchell. Behavior laughed. I'm a meme. Wonderful. You're a hero to a lot of women who wish they had your courage. I wasn't courageous. I was desperate. Sometimes they're the same thing, her mother said, echoing the words from 6 months ago. They ate in comfortable silence. Then her mother asked, have you heard from him, Melissa? No, not since the settlement. Behavior pushed pad thai around her plate. I heard he's consulting now. Started some new venture. Moved to San Francisco. And Amber? Fired, obviously. Last I heard, she's at a startup in Silicon Valley. Probably found another married CEO to climb over. Her mother frowned. That's harsh. Maybe. But she made her choices. Just like I made mine. Just like Melissa made his. Do you hate him? Behavior thought about it. Really thought about it. 6 months ago, the answer would have been yes. Absolutely. But now? No. I feel nothing. And that's better than hate. Hate means he still matters. This is indifference. He's just someone I used to know. After dinner, walking back to her condo, Behavior's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Hi, Behavior. This is Sarah Chun. We work together at UW. I saw you're teaching at PSU. Would love to grab coffee and catch up. There might be a full-time position opening up in the English department. Interested? Behavior stopped walking, staring at the message. A full-time position. A real job. A career path. The life she'd given up, offering itself back to her. She typed, I'd love to. When works for you? The response came immediately. Tomorrow? 10 a.m.? Perfect. See you then. Behavior's journey from betrayal to empowerment shows us that sometimes you have to burn down your old life to build the one you deserve. What's one thing you would do differently if you could start over? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story might inspire someone else to take that first brave step. The coffee shop near campus was buzzing with students and professors. Sarah was already there when Behavior arrived, looking exactly as she remembered. Warm smile, sharp eyes, the kind of energy that made everyone around her feel smarter. Behavior, it's so good to see you. Sarah hugged her. You look amazing. So do you. They ordered coffee and settled into a corner booth. I won't pretend I haven't been following your story, Sarah said. The whole department has. Hell, the whole university. Behavior winced. I'm sure that was mortifying for everyone. Are you kidding? You're a legend. Students in my classes bring you up. Professor Chen, did you hear what Professor Mitchell did? You've become this symbol of fighting back. I threw underwear at someone. Not exactly heroic. You stood up to a billionaire who tried to erase you. You fought for yourself when most people would have just taken the settlement and disappeared. Sarah leaned forward. That's exactly the kind of energy we need in our department. Someone who knows what it's like to lose everything and rebuild. Someone who can teach our students that their voices matter. Sarah, I haven't published anything in 7 years. My research is outdated. I'm not exactly. You're exactly what we need. The position is yours if you want it. Full-time. Benefits. Tenure track. A real future. Behavior felt tears threatening. I want it. God, I want it. Good. Because the department voted unanimously. You start in the fall. That night, alone in her condo, Behavior opened her laptop. The novel. The one she'd tried to write for 3 years during her marriage. The cursor had blinked on a blank page, mocking her inability to create anything. She'd abandoned it after the divorce. Too painful. Too much a reminder of failure. But now, sitting at her kitchen table with chamomile tea and the Portland rain drumming against the windows, she opened the document. And she started writing. Not the novel she'd planned. That woman, the one who'd wanted to write beautiful, literary prose about love and loss, didn't exist anymore. This was different. Raw, honest, angry and hopeful in equal measure. A story about a woman who lost herself and found herself again. The words poured out. 3 hours. 5,000 words. More than she'd written in 7 years combined. When she finally stopped, her hands cramping, the sun was rising over Portland. She'd written through the night. And it was good. Really good. She saved the document. Titled it, Starting Over. Then she closed the laptop and went to bed, falling asleep with a smile on her face. 1 year after the incident at Carter Enterprises, Behavior stood at a podium in Powell's Books, Portland's legendary bookstore, looking out at a crowd of 200 people. Her book, her actual, published book, sat on the table beside her. Starting Over. One woman's journey from betrayal to empowerment. It had taken a year to write. Another 6 months to publish. But here it was. Real. Her words. Her story. Thank you all for coming, she said. A year ago, I was at the lowest point of my life. I'd discovered my husband's infidelity. I'd lost my identity. I'd become so small and invisible that I barely existed. And I did something crazy. Something public. Something that went viral and turned me into a meme. Laughter rippled through the crowd. People asked me if I regret it. The answer is no. Because that moment, as humiliating and painful as it was, forced me to face the truth. I couldn't go back to pretending. I couldn't keep living a lie. I had to blow up my life to save it. She paused, looking at the faces staring back at her. So many women. Different ages. Different stories. But the same look in their eyes. Recognition. Understanding. Hope. This book isn't about revenge. It's about reclaiming power. About realizing that your worth isn't determined by who loves you or who betrays you. It's about the courage to start over, even when you have no idea what you're starting. After the reading, she signed books, shook hands, Listened to stories from women who'd left bad marriages, toxic jobs, lives that didn't fit anymore. You gave me permission to leave, one woman said, tears streaming down her face. I've been in a loveless marriage for 15 years. Next week, I'm filing for divorce. Because you showed me it's possible to survive. Behavior hugged her. It's more than possible. It's worth it. Late that night, back in her condo, Behavior's phone rang. An unknown number. She almost didn't answer. But something made her pick up. Hello. Behavior. It's Melissa. She froze. A full year without contact, and now this. What do you want? I saw your book. I read it. And you were right. About everything. I became someone I didn't recognize. Someone who hurt the only person who ever actually loved me for me, not for what I could give them. Behavior said nothing. Let him fill the silence. I'm in therapy. I sold the company, what was left of it. I'm trying to figure out who I am without the money and the power and the performance. He paused. I'm not calling to ask for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know, you saved me too. By leaving. By refusing to accept less than you deserved. You forced me to finally look at myself. I'm glad you're getting help, Melissa. I really am. But I need you to understand something. I didn't save you. You have to save yourself. That's not my job anymore. I know. Thank you. For the book. For your story. For showing me what real strength looks like. Goodbye, Melissa. She hung up before he could respond. And she felt nothing. Not anger. Not satisfaction. Not even sadness. Just peace. 2 years after everything fell apart. Behavior stood in her office at Portland State University, a real office, with her name on the door, preparing for her afternoon seminar. Her book was in its 3rd printing. She'd been interviewed by NPR, featured in Time magazine, invited to speak at universities across the country. But more than that, she was happy. Actually, genuinely happy. She had friends, colleagues who respected her, students who challenged her. A life that was messy and full and entirely her own. There was no billionaire husband, no penthouse, no designer clothes or exclusive parties or any of the things she'd thought mattered. Just her, teaching, writing, living. And it was enough. More than enough. It was everything. A knock on her office door. One of her students, holding a copy of her book. Professor Mitchell, could you sign this? Not for me, for my mom. She's leaving her husband next month. Your book gave her courage. Behavior smiled, taking the book. What's her name? Jennifer. She wrote. Jennifer, the hardest part is starting. But once you take that first step, you'll discover you're stronger than you ever imagined. Keep walking. Behavior. She handed it back. Tell her I'm proud of her. After the student left, Behavior looked out her office window at the campus below. Students rushing to class. Professors carrying coffee. Life happening in all its ordinary, extraordinary beauty. She thought about the woman she'd been 2 years ago. Trapped. Invisible. Desperate. And she thought about the woman she'd become. Free. Visible. Strong. The journey from one to the other had been brutal. Painful. Public and humiliating and terrifying. But she'd survived it. More than survived, she'd transformed. And if she could do it, anyone could. The best revenge, she'd learned, wasn't destruction. It was reconstruction. Building a life so fulfilling, so authentically yours, that the person who betrayed you becomes irrelevant. Not because you hate them, but because you've moved so far beyond them that they simply don't matter anymore. Behavior picked up her lecture notes and headed to class, ready to teach the next generation about women who challenged their constraints, told their stories, and refused to be erased. Women exactly like her. Thank you so much for watching my story all the way to the end. Your support means everything. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.